Well, too many young persons are being criminalized for small quantities of marijuana, and the Prime Minister, Dr. Gonzalez, says there is a case to be made to change that. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Prime Minister Gonzalez said the possession of the drug in small quantities used by persons not in the public or in their workplaces can be decriminalized. He said the persons should not confuse this position to be a call by him for the legalization of marijuana.
I'm not talking about legalizing, I'm talking about decriminalizing, because there's a difference. Something could be illegal and you simply be asked to pay a fine, but it doesn't carry a criminal sanction. It doesn't appear on a criminal record, because too many young people in this Caribbean, in this St. Vincent and the Grenadines, have been criminalized for smoking a joint. They're wrong to do it, but they have a criminal record.
Though he has been calling for open discussions on medical marijuana to be established as a commercial product, Prime Minister Gonzalez added that he is still insistent that a strong line be drawn on drug trafficking, as it often leads to other criminal activities.
Why are we criminalizing young people in the manner in which we have done? And has it stopped anything? No. More people are smoking it. However, you maintain a very strong line in relation to trafficking in this in this commodity, because that is tied up with with guns and violence and money laundering and the like.
In other news, persons in capital city Kingston had the opportunity yesterday to be educated on how best to protect themselves, their homes, and their personal property. That's during Christmas season and beyond. This was done through the annual crime prevention exhibition put on by the crime unit of the police force, mounted outside the central police station. According to the crime unit, the exercise is particularly necessary during the Christmas season, where there are heightened activities across the country. One of the areas in which persons were being educated was differentiating between genuine and counterfeit notes. Station Sergeant Ballantyne says during the festive season, it is important that persons are able to detect counterfeit notes when making transactions.
It is important that we know our notes. Now, our Eastern Caribbean currency notes, the genuine notes, has 9 features. The updated currency has 9 features. I'm going to just take my time and show you a chart, and I would like Constable Tim to assist me here. I'm just going to point to the 8 features that you should look for. I'm not going to show them in detail, but we have the electrotype, which is the ECCB should be showing under the light on the left-hand corner side. We have 2 security threads. We have the 2 intaglio foil. We have what we call the iridescent print. We have the watermark. We have novel numbering. We have silver metallic fluorescence, and we have situ feature.
Valentine is reminding the public that one of the most important features they ought to look for on these notes is the barcode.
So even the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, they are catering for the blind. Persons must also be aware of notes that come into them with something called the barcodes. These currency are still on the market. It doesn't mean that if you see a currency without the barcodes that they are fake. But we ought to understand that there are 9 security features in the updated genuine notes. Okay? So even though you see one with 8 features alone, and you see it without the added feature which is used to assess the blind, it does not mean that that currency is a fake note. If persons have difficulties identifying this currency, we are asking persons to come at SID. There are persons trained in that area who can assist them to identify between the real and the fake note.
Here's a demonstration on how you can better able to identify a genuine $100 note from a counterfeit one.
Morning, we're going to look at the silver lining here in the upper left-hand corner. If you demonstrate, you will see this lining. You can see it very clearly. But the counterfeit one, you will not see it. It will be there, but you will not see anything really. Also, there's two things we can also look for if you don't have the natural equipment to assist you, is that also the silver lining, which is running across here. We see the silver lining here. Now with the fixed specimen here, we just have this line. Also, if you want to be sure on different things, there's a texture that you can feel it differently. And as persons who are doing vending and also in passenger vans during the Christmas season, Carnival season, if you want to be sure, you can hold it against the light to make sure that it is real. You hold it up like that. If you're facing the Queen here, I'm facing this Queen, facing the Queen is looking at me, and the watermark also. If I turn it to you, the King is facing me, and the Queen also is facing me in this corner here.
On the heels of the death of former South African President Nelson Mandela, Prime Minister Dr. Gonzalez has warned the persons to be aware of selective historians and self-serving history tellers. In his address to the nation following the passing of the world icon, Prime Minister Gonzalez said many will attempt to write out the truth of the black struggles and of the powerful images which Mandela presented. He said that these selective historians and revisionists must not be given a listening ear.
There are some forces internationally which seek selectively to rewrite Mandela's life story in their own image and interests. Those, for example, who had labeled Mandela and the ANC as terrorists during the epic years of the anti-apartheid struggle, now want to make it appear that it was the goodly work of a few former apartheid apostles who experienced a Damascus conversion and the constructive engagement of the governments of the USA and some European countries were principally responsible for apartheid's demise. Such persons attempt to write out of the real story